Hello everyone, hope you all are doing great and welcome to this new video course. And in this video course we are going to be exploring maps in SwiftUI. So this is going to be an introductory course for maps in SwiftUI, but you're not only going to be learning the existing map capability that SwiftUI provides, but you're also going to learn a bit more, which is going to be how to port over UIKit version of maps to achieve some of the advanced functionalities into the map space. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you what we are going to be working on. So we're going to work on 6 examples that are listed out here. So let me show you one by one. We're going to start with a basic map. We're going to talk about what maps is all about in SwiftUI, how to integrate it, how to use it, and how to put it on the map, all the different how to put it on the screen with all the different configurations and options that you have available. From there, we are going to basically drop some annotations in the form of markers and pins. Okay, so basically you're gonna learn how to drop markers, map markers and map pins into the map, and from there you're gonna basically learn how to build your own custom map annotations purely using SwiftUI. So your custom SwiftUI view can actually build a map annotation view, a custom map annotation view, and you're going to learn how to actually build that out in SwiftUI. Okay, from there we're going to actually go into a little bit into the UIKit space, and we're going to port over the map type functionality by supporting different map types, for example satellite, hybrid, and standard map types, so you can switch different map types. Okay, and then we're gonna start with user tracking and user location by using core locations. So you're gonna learn how to integrate core location into your maps. You're gonna learn how you can basically get your maps or core location, publish those newly found information about the user's tracking, and then display that onto the map and make map follow those location changes on the screen. Okay, from there we're gonna build another custom map annotation, probably too many annotations, but in this case we're gonna actually build a custom annotation that displays basically not only the location, but if you have a whole bunch of annotations, you can actually display their information, what those locations are, and also you can click on them to see more information about that location. So that's going to be another functionality that we are going to be building in SwiftUI and in this course. So if you are wondering how to use maps into your SwiftUI apps, then this course is for you. Okay, so with that said, I'm going to be actually coding right in front of you so you can actually see what's going on, and I'm going to code it in such a way where each and every file has all the details that we have covered throughout the course, so you can actually at the end of the course you can download the source code and take a look at the source code to match your solutions. Okay, so with that said, I hope you're excited to jump into the course, and I will see you guys inside this new video course where we're going to be learning about MapKits and maps in SwiftUI. Thank you. Hello and welcome back, and let's go ahead and get started. So first of all, maps or map view from MapKit was introduced into the world of SwiftUI with the second revision of iOS 14. And creating basic maps is easy with SwiftUI. If you're looking for more powerful and customized map support, then you're better off creating a version with the UI view representable and UI view controller representable classes. So map basically is defined inside the MapKit framework. and we'll be importing that framework along with SwiftUI in our examples to see how to use it. All right, so what I've done is I've created a simple project here, and we're going to start creating some files so we can start building out our examples with this. So let's go ahead and start with basically a simple map view. We're going to start with a region, and we're going to start region without an annotation. So one of the initializers in the map takes a coordinate region binding as a parameter, and we will create the region using a state property with coordinates to Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new file here, and I'm going to basically start with basics of maps. Okay, just name it that, and we are going to start with a SwiftUI import, and we are also going to import MapKit. Okay, and next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a state variable. So at state private var, and we're going to create the we're going to call this one as region. And this is going to be MK coordinate region type, and its center is going to be at the place where Golden Gate Bridge is located. So I'm going to paste the coordinates, and the way you can actually get the coordinates by simply going to maps.google.com. So let me pull that up. All right, so let me pull up google.com, maps.google.com, and you can simply go and find Golden Gate Bridge. Okay, and if you right click on it, the first thing you're gonna get is the coordinates. Okay, so I'm gonna simply click on it, and that will actually copy the coordinate inside my clipboard, and the center is basically a type of CL location coordinate 2D, which has latitude and longitude. So I'm going to simply paste latitude and longitude values that were copied from the Google map, and I'm going to just replace it. So first value is latitude, second value is longitude. Now the latitude meters is or latitudinal meters is basically the distance, how far how much zoomed in or zoom out you want your map to be. Okay, so we're gonna start with 1000, and we're gonna I'm gonna change this value to show you how this makes a difference. With this region created, all we need to do is simply use map view, and inside the map view we're gonna take the coordinate region, and we're gonna supply the coordinate or the region binding value of the region into this. Okay, and this will create the map. We'll actually ignore safe areas and gonna simply resume our preview section. Okay, so basically what's gonna happen is what we should see is a map as soon as we run our simulator. All right, so one more thing I want to make change is I want to make this to change this to iPhone 13 Pro, and let's go ahead and resume it one more time. And build is gonna take just a few seconds. Till the time, let me talk about the region. So region here is the region to show and is of type MK coordinate region. When user interacts with the map, the region value is gonna be updated. That's why the value is of binding type. Okay, so let me go ahead and play this, and you're gonna see that our map is centered around Golden Gate, and I can move around, and as we are moving around, the value of the region is changing. Okay, so we can actually pan with this move, with this map. We can zoom. So if I try to zoom out, I can zoom out. So this is another view. Now let me show you how this value makes a difference. So let's change it to 100. Okay, and I'm gonna resume, And as soon as our map pulls up, you can see how close we are. We are like way up close to the bridge, and you can see the streets. And if I zoom out, you're gonna start seeing the map with, like, start and the end of the bridge and stuff. You can make it like, a really high value, like 5,000, to show the map a little bit more zoomed up like this, so you can see more sort of like neighboring cities view, and you can move around and see like more areas. So depending upon your need, you may choose like however much you want to like zoom in or zoom out. In my case, I found like 1,000 to be good enough to show like the place where we are trying to focus, and we can obviously zoom in and out. Okay, so that was just creation of a basic map. In the next video, we're gonna talk about the interaction modes for the map. Okay, so I'll see you guys in the next video. Hello and welcome back. And in this video, we're gonna be talking about map interaction mode. So map view by default support all the interactions as we saw in the last video. So let's go ahead and take a look at one more time. So this is pan, basically moving around in the map. Okay, and this another interaction is the zoom in or zoom out, so zooming off the map. Okay, so those two are by default enabled and supported for the maps that are created inside SwiftUI. Okay, but if you want to restrict this, let's say if you want your user to only move around but not change the zoom level, then you can do that. Or the other way around, if you want your user to just zoom in and out and not pan around, you can do that too. And on the top of that, if you want your users to not do anything, basically you can stop all the interactions. So let's go ahead and take a look at all of them one by one. Okay, so we're gonna start with the interaction mode to allow. So interaction mode to allow pan gesture only. Okay, so now we're gonna only allow pan gesture. Okay, so we can move our map anywhere. Okay, and if I try to zoom in or zoom out, as you can see, our zoom is no longer working. We can still pan around, we can still move around the map, but our zoom interaction is disabled. Okay, so that's what pan gesture does. It removes every other basically interaction. It just leaves the pan gesture. Okay, so this list is what needs to be included. Okay, the other way is or like the other option is to allow only zoom and not allow the pan. So like you can see, I'm trying to move this map but it's not moving. But if I try to zoom in or zoom out, it just works fine, right? So that's like basically another way of like restricting your interaction to just having zoom. Now if you want both options, you can say like I want to provide it both pan and zoom. Okay, then in that case you can basically achieve the default interaction at this moment. Now what that means is Apple may decide for future releases to support more interaction modes, like rotation is not supported at this point within the map, that map version that's available for SwiftUI. So that means if you have your interaction mode for your app defined as .pan and .zoom, in that case, anything new that Apple introduces in future releases, they're not going to be included in your version because you are exclusively specifying that you only want to focus on pan and zoom interactions. Okay, but if you want to support all the interactions that Apple is going to provide, you can either choose all, or the default option, which is actually all, is to not define this parameter at all, and basically the default is going to be all. Okay, so that's how you actually can support the future versions of interactions. Now, in case you are on the other side where you don't want to support any interaction, you can simply supply an empty array. And what this essentially is going to do is going to keep your map focused with the zoom level set to what you have within that space. Now you want this in case where, like, you're basically displaying a map and displaying, like, some sort of restaurant menu and stuff like that. Then you want your menu and stuff to be interactive, but your map location, because your restaurant's location is most likely not going to change, so you don't want the user to pan around, like, within the map or play around, like, with that information, but you rather want to provide the interaction more on the main function of the app. So you can keep your interaction mode disabled. In that case, your map is still going to be visible, your location is still going to be visible, but your map is not going to be interactive. Okay, so that's how you can control the interactive mode or interaction with the map, right? Okay, so that reaches with that, like, we reached end of this video. In the next video, we're gonna explore a little bit more about maps. We're gonna start using the annotations view. Okay, so I will see you guys in next video. Thank you. Hello and welcome back. And in this video, we are going to be basically putting annotations on the map. So once again, map view in SwiftUI allows us to add map annotations with a simple API. Now map view takes annotations as an array and it places them onto the map. So for this, we will need to create a data structure which we will supply to the annotation parameters. Now our data structure that we're going to create is going to be called annotation item, and this structure will conform to identifiable protocol and will have basically a name and coordinate properties, and we're going to see that right now. So let's go ahead and create the a file, and we're going to call this map annotation examples. Okay, and we're going to start once again with a data structure that's going to support our annotation items. So we're going to create a struct annotation item. This is going to conform to identifiable protocol. So for that, in order to conform to that protocol, we need to create an ID. So we're going to create a UUID type, and then we're going to create a name, which is going to be of type string, and a coordinate, which is going to be CL location coordinate 2D. Okay, now this class is defined inside the MapKit, so we're gonna import MapKit. Okay, so now our annotation data structure is ready. Now what we'll do is we'll create some point of interest basically in an extension into the annotation item, and we're going to use those to display those point of interest onto the map. Okay, so we're going to create an extension here, and extension is going to be on annotation item, and we're going to create a static variable called POI. Okay, it's going to be of type annotation item array, and basically this computer property is going to return some annotation items. So annotation item name is going to be holistic Golden Gate Bridge. Okay, and for the CL location coordinate 2D, what we're going to do is we are going to copy that from the previous example. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this guy right here. Okay, so that is going to be basically our CL location coordinate 2D, and latitude and longitude information is going to be for the Golden Gate Bridge. Okay, now like that, I'm going to create just a few more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy paste and I'm going to tell you about them. So let me format, and essentially what we are creating here is let's see, all right, so coordinate, yeah, it should be coordinate. I guess in the other class that I created, it was coordinates for some reason. Okay, so we have an annotation item for San Diego Zoo and the location for San Diego Zoo, Statue of Liberty, and the location of Statue of Liberty, and Empire State Building, the location for that. Okay, so these all these coordinates are grabbed from the same technique I showed you in the last video, where you can just open maps.google.com and simply zoom into that location and then copy the coordinates. Now, with this setup ready, we are ready to include annotations into our map. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to create, first thing that we need for maps is basically a region. So we're going to create a region variable, mk coordinate region, and mk coordinate region takes a center, which is, we're gonna take annotation item dot poi, and we'll take 0th item as the center and get the coordinate for that. Okay, and for latitudinal, okay, let me, all right, so let's see what's going on. Okay, yeah, that's the problem, because this needs to be an equal. Okay, let me retype this. Alrighty, mk coordinate region with center. All right, perfect. Annotation item dot poi. Let's take first poi, and distance is going to be 1000. So let's focus on, or let's do 5000 this time. Okay, because we're going to zoom out to see all the others. All right, so that's going to give us, and this is coordinate. So this is going to give us the region. Okay, and then we're going to draw our map. So we're going to say map coordinate region. So we're going to choose that, and we're going to simply supply our binding for the region. Now the other parameter is annotation items, and we're going to simply say annotation item is going to be annotation item dot poi, basically list of all the items. Now this gives us a closure, so we're going to say each item in that annotation we want to draw a map marker. Okay, and this map marker takes a coordinate and a tint color. So we're going to say coordinate is going to be item dot coordinate, and the tint color, for example, let's take green tint color. Okay, and we're going to say ignore safe area. Okay, with that, we are going to resume our preview just to see what we have got so far. So if we zoom out, what we should see is basically, first of all, some of these nice markers. And if I zoom out, you will see a few more. So basically you will see, like, one for Golden Gate. This one is for San Diego Zoo. And if you zoom in inside the New York area, you're gonna see one for Empire State Building and another one for Statue of Liberty. Okay, so as you can see, now we have drawn or dropped the annotations for these locations. Now our locations are much more clear where they are on the map. Okay, if their names are not there, our pin is actually showing where they are, as you can see. So Statue of Liberty, like, I'm probably off, like, with the coordinates. That's why it's showing, like, it's not sitting on the top. But if you grab, like, exact coordinate, you're gonna see it, like, sitting exactly in the top. But it doesn't matter, like, Statue of Liberty is right here. Okay, so now as you can see, that it's really easy to drop the pin onto the map. Now we used map marker, but we can also use a map pin. So if we prefer, we can drop a pin, and let me change the color to orange this time. And there you go, you have your map pin. Now we can change the POI from 1 to 0, and just to show you, like, that this pin is going to be dropped now on Golden Gate Bridge. And as you can see, the Golden Gate Bridge now marked with this pin right here. Okay, now basically we are not limited to just having map markers or map pins, but we can create our own UI for these annotation views. Okay, and that is gonna be the topic for our next video. So in the next video, we're gonna create our own custom annotation view. So I'll see you guys in next video. Thank you. Hello and welcome back, and in this video we are going to be creating our own custom map annotation view. So we've been using map marker and map pins. We have seen how to use them, but creating a custom map annotation is really easy. So you can literally use any of the SwiftUI view and create that experience for your users, and it can be as customized as, like, to match your app's theme. So we're gonna simply create that with the help of something called map annotation. Now map annotation is basically a way to provide a customizable annotation that marks a location on the map. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and create one. So we're going to use the anchor point in a little bit, but let's go ahead and use the simple example of the map annotation. So we're going to simply take our item and we're going to pass its coordinate into the coordinate parameter, and for the content we can actually create a simple SwiftUI view. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a Z stack. Okay, and inside this Z stack we're going to create an image with system name, and we're going to use the name or system image called flag.circle.fill. Okay, so we're going to have a flag circle visible right there. Okay, we're going to make the font to be a large title, so it's actually a little bit big, and then we're going to create another image of system name with arrow dot down. So we're going to have a down arrow. So right now down arrow is right here in the center because, like, that's the default alignment for our Z stack, but we can offset this on y-axis by 20 points. Okay, so that's actually gonna drop an arrow right underneath. Okay, and we can make this guy bold as well. So we're gonna say title dot bold. Okay, so there we go. We have, like, a very bold pointer pointing at the Golden Gate Bridge. All right, and to top that, we can actually just have the whole thing surrounded by a foreground style with linear gradient, and colors are going to be color dot green and dot pink. Okay, start point is going to be dot top, and endpoint is gonna be bottom. Now, this is not to show you like, basically not to test my design skills, but to show you that like, a really complex view can be created with this design right here. Now, there's one issue I see where like, our arrow is slightly, the tail was sort of like, displayed. So I just moved the arrow first in the hierarchy, and then the flag should sit at the top. That way, like, the arrow seems like it's coming out of the image itself. Okay, so this is our custom annotation. As you can see, like, this is basically drawn for all of our locations. So let me zoom out. It's a little bit hard to zoom out on the simulator, but like I'll try my best. Okay, so as you can see, our annotations have been drawn just perfectly. Okay, all right, so now there's one more thing that I gotta try. So remember that other parameter that we had, anchor. Okay, so let's go ahead and put the anchor. So what is anchor first of all? So anchor is basically a CG point value in unit coordinate space that aligns the coordinate location of the annotation view itself that is created, and by default the value is set as 0.5. so basically that displays the center of the entire view. So right now, if you look at this, the center of the view sits on top of the coordinate space. But if you want to make it like, basically like just take one side, either X at 1 point and Y at 0.5, you can actually do that. So let me go ahead and define the CG point in X and Y, and I'm gonna make 1.0 for X and 0.0 for Y. And now, yeah, we're going to use this. Let's use the, I think, which one is Statue of Liberty? Yeah, Statue of Liberty as the example. Okay, and we're going to zoom in just quite a bit. All right. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start updating this. So 0.5. All right, and let me change the zoom level as well. So I'm going to make it 500. Let's make it 500 and resume. And there we go. Okay, so Y 0.9. Okay, or 1.0. like that. So it sits right on the top, and 0.0 basically like moving X value. So like let's put the center for the X, and there we go. Like I said, I actually grabbed the wrong coordinates for Statue of Liberty, so that's why it's slightly off, but you can see what anchor point does. Okay, let me see if I can okay, let me reset this to 5000 and let's see what happens with the golden gate. So you're going to notice that the golden gate is going to be pointed right at the place where it is located. Okay, so that's what this like the anchor point does, is basically to adjust like where your view is gonna be drawn. Now I can actually adjust it to make sure like how it looks, but I can actually remove this to accommodate the so X is actually needed. Sorry, removal is not gonna work. That was a wrong experiment. Okay, so setting X to 0.5, which is the default value, and Y to 1 to accommodate this like, the newly created views offset, because everything is going to be at the center. So if I do it 0.5, 0.5, you can see it sits right there at the center. So center of the view is where your annotation center is. To offset that, I'm going to actually set it to 1.5, okay, or 1.0 to point it right there. So you can actually play around with this, like, and basically adjust however much you want, but essentially the anchor point is to adjust the offset depending upon what kind of view that you're drawing. So it gives you a little bit more control on how your anchor or the annotation is going to look like. All right, so with that, we have reached the end of this video as well. And in the next video, we are going to be talking about map types for the maps. So basically supporting different types of maps like satellite, hybrid, street views, etc., etc. And we're gonna see, like, how we can actually add support to that into our SwiftUI based maps. Okay, so I'll see you guys in next video. Thank you. Hello and welcome back. And in this video, we are going to be looking at supporting map types for maps in SwiftUI. So SwiftUI map view is very powerful for the given the amount of work that we need to do. But if you need to do more than just displaying a map or dropping a annotation, then you'll have to look into UIKit based maps. So basically there are some powerful features that UIKit based map supports, and SwiftUI actually makes it super easy to port those maps over from UIKit to SwiftUI world with the help of UI view representable. So in this video, we will basically build a map using UIKit and UI view representable to add support for map types. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So we'll start with creating a new struct, and that struct is gonna be conforming to UI view representable, and we will call that UIKit map view. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a new file. So I'm going to create a SwiftUI file. I'm going to call this UI. So actually, you know what? Let's create a Swift file. Call it UIKit map view. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to import SwiftUI. And we are also going to import MapKit. Okay. Now we're going to create our struct for UIKit map view, and this is gonna conform to UI view representable protocol. Okay, now this struct will expect two properties. One is going to be a region for map to center it on, and the other one is going to be map type. So we're going to create region property, mk coordinate region, and a map type, mk map type. Okay, and then we're gonna actually conform to UI view representable protocol, so like this error can go away. Now there are two required functions that needs to be basically created or stubbed out, but before that we need to provide the type alias for UI view type that's going to be returned from this UI view representable. So we're going to say we're going to return mk map view. Okay, and once we have that, I'm going to just quickly build, and we're going to try to stub one more time, and it's going to basically add those two required functions. Now I'm going to move all the properties and type alias at the top, so we have, like, our functions listed at the bottom. Okay, so make UI view. Let's go ahead and jump into let's see if we can actually get to the definition. Let's get to the definition of UI view representable. All right, and we'll see what it is. So UI view representable requires two functions: make UI view, which actually returns a UI view type. Now UI view type in our case is going to be MK map view. That's what we defined in the type alias. Basically this function is responsible for creating the instance, the object of the view. Okay, so this is where we are going to create the view, UIKit based view, set its constraints and stuff like that. And then the update part, which is the update UI view, is going to update these the state of the view with the new information. Okay, so we get access to, like, the actual view that was changed and the context, and then we, depending upon the context, we can actually change the views. Then you have, like, a couple of other things. For example, there's a dismantle UI view, and there's, like, a coordinator. Coordinator is actually used for delegation, and we're gonna see that by using the make coordinator, use of make coordinator function in the future videos, how to use coordinator to basically conform to those delegate based protocols. Okay, so back to our code. What we need to do is first of all make UI view, this function right here. This is going to create the instance for the type, and the update is going to be responsible for responding to the changes to the view. So we will build an MK map view instance inside the make UI view function, and we will set the maps region to be the region that's passed in during the view creation. So this region that's been passed in, we'll actually use that right here while creating the instance by setting the region. Okay, and then we'll set the map type as well to the type that was passed in. Okay, and then we are also going to be doing one more thing. So like I said in the previous video, that so far at this point, like SwiftUI maps, they don't support the rotation of the map. Okay, but UIKit version supports that. Now in order to play well, like, with, like, on the simulator side, I'm going to disable that rotation, but you can actually enable that rotation if you like, or leave it like, default, which is enabled state. So we're going to create a map view. Okay, this is going to be MK map view, and we're going to take our map view and set its region, and we're going to set this region to the region that's been passed in with the animated to be false, and map view dot map type will be the map type that's been passed in. All right, now map view is it also has is rotated. So as you can see, like, there are few more things. For example, zoom is enabled, pinch is enabled, rotation is enabled, scroll is enabled, user location is visible, and all these different properties that actually come with the UIKit version of the map view. The one that we are interested in is rotate enabled, and we're going to set this to false, and then we're going to return our map view. Okay, for the update UI view, we're not gonna bother. We're simply gonna leave it as is. Okay, and whenever, like, the map state is gonna change, well, actually we're not gonna leave it as is. Whenever the map type is gonna change, this is where we're gonna update it. So we get access to our map view inside this UI view. So we're gonna change this to map view. Okay, and we're gonna say map view dot map type is equal to the new map type that is going to be changed by changing this property. And you're going to see, like, how this is changed inside our UI SwiftUI version when we use this UIKit map view inside the SwiftUI. Okay, now we can optionally create coordinators. So I want to show you, like, how you can create the coordinator. At this point, we are not going to use this. We are simply going to leave it as is, but in case if you want to conform to, like, the delegates and stuff, you can use that by conforming to the by creating a coordinate, and your coordinator is basically not coordinate, coordinator is going to be basically responsible for handling the delegate based function calls. Okay, so we're going to create function make coordinator, which was the one that we saw earlier in the SwiftUI definition space. Let me see if I can still open it. Yeah, make coordinator right here. It returns the coordinator. Now the coordinator class that's going to return, we're going to create that inside this struct. We're going to call this we're going to make this a final class, call this map coordinator. Okay, and it's going to conform to ns object, and it's also going to conform to mk-map view delegate protocol in case if you want to implement any protocols and basically any delegate protocols. And you're going to see how you can use that in future videos, how to use this coordinator. But just for the completion sake, I'm just gonna show you the signature. And return type is going to be the map coordinator, this guy right here, and we're simply gonna initialize the map coordinator instance here. Okay, so now we are basically ready to use this view, and we will actually create region map types as a state variable and pass them into the UIKit map view, which is this view right here. Okay, and what we'll do is we'll use a segment picker to show the map type options, and we're going to bind that to the map types state variable. So whenever that state changes for the map type, we actually show different types of maps. Okay, so let's go ahead and create that. So I'm going to create a struct here, or actually, you know what, let's create a new file of type SwiftUI view. So we're going to use the SwiftUI view template, and we're going to say map type example. Okay, and once again, we are first going to need a state variable with region. So state private var region mk coordinate region, and the center. So we'll use our annotation item dot poi at 0 dot coordinate as the center. For the distance, we're going to use 1000, okay, in meters. And then we are going to create another state variable. So state private var, and this is going to be map type mk map type, and we're going to use standard for this, for the standard type. Okay, now we're going to create a z stack, and inside the z stack we are going to create our UIKit map view. So UIKit map view, and this expects a region to be passed in, so we're going to pass the region, and the map type is going to be the map type that's been created as a state variable here, or state property. Next, we're going to create a v stack, and we're going to put the spacer at the top and a picker at the bottom. So picker. Okay, and this picker is gonna have it's not gonna have any label. Okay, and we are simply going to have selection. Selection is gonna be on map type state property, and there are gonna be 3 values for this guy. There's gonna be standard with a tag value matching mk map type dot standard. Okay, I'm gonna copy this and paste it. Next one is gonna be hybrid. For hybrid map type, and third one is gonna be satellite, and text is gonna be satellite. Okay, now we're gonna set the picker type, picker style, and picker style is going to be segmented. Okay, and for the background, I'm going to give this a thick material. There we go. And For this V stack, we're gonna also offset this on y-axis for negative 40 points, and for the entire Z stack, we're gonna ignore the safe area for all directions. Okay, now we are just going to resume our code and gonna play or resume our preview, and we're gonna basically start the preview. And now we have our location tagged at the Golden Gate Bridge. And if I change this to hybrid, actually, you know what? Yeah, so if you look at the hybrid versus satellite, satellite has just the satellite imagery. So as you can see, we have like, satellite image. If you put hybrid, then you actually have like, the roads and annotations mapped. Basically the locations are marked. Okay, and standard shows like, the standard version of the map with like, terrains and stuff located with like, different colors, and roads and everything are marked. If you do hybrid, you still have like, road names are marked, but it's like on the top of satellite image. So this is how you can actually support a map basically with map type. Okay, once again, there is no SwiftUI version available yet, so we are importing using UIKit, and the way we are doing it is by conforming to UI view representable, and then by leveraging the make UI view, we are going to create an instance of mkmap view, and map type is going to be updated in the update UI view function, and then we are simply going to use that inside a SwiftUI view. Okay, so this is how you can support different map types for your maps in SwiftUI. In the next video, we are going to be basically talking about tracking user locations, so basically supporting user location tracking within the map view, and that is going to be a place where we're also going to see how we can use the location manager and CL location or co-location to basically pull the user's location information out and from the GPS, from device's GPS, and then we are actually going to build that functionality out using, once again, CL location manager and our custom map view. All right, so yeah, with that, we've reached the end of this video. In the next video, we're gonna see how we can actually use SwiftUI map to track users' location. All right, so I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you. Hello and welcome back, and in this video we are going to be basically tracking users location using maps in SwiftUI. So there are like a few things involved. Essentially we are going to be using the core location to acquire users location. So let's go ahead and get started. So SwiftUI map view has a parameter called shows user location. So let me go back to one of the previous example, and if we look at this parameter, this shows like basically there is a boolean value or boolean parameter called shows user location. Well, it gives you an impression that just by setting this particular parameter we can track users location, but that's not entirely true. There is more work that is involved in order to basically accomplish the user location. Now by the end of this video, you'll understand what all it takes, but first and foremost, a user's location is a private information, and Apple treats it that way, and they go to a greater length to protect that information. Now, various different countries has different laws around tracking users' location, so that is why users' location become tracking users' location and caching that becomes a sensitive topic. So in short, just by setting this parameter to true will not show us the user's current location. Once again, we are gonna have to do a bit more stuff in order to get that. Now, before tracking user's location, app developers are required to ask for a permission from the user. So basically, showing the permission dialog using your app where your user is gonna allow you to basically to share their location information with your app. Okay. Basically then we actually can start tracking. Once we have the permission, we can start tracking user's location, but there are various different categories in that section too, how and when the location is tracked. Well, map view, reason it allows to set this parameter to true is basically when we have that permission from the user where we are allowed to track the information, then this shows user location becomes active and starts showing the actual location basically of the user on the map. Okay. Once again, it's not all automatic. It's protected under users privacy law, and Apple wants app developers to be mindful when asking for location permissions. So they expect you to do some internal plumbing before you start tracking users location. So in order to show the user's location on the map, we will have to track their location. That is the responsibility of CL Location Manager class. And now this class also takes care of asking or seeking that permission from various different intents to track the location with a wide range of configuration to provide the accurate results. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to be using our own, we're going to be creating our own class for Location Manager, and we will import Code Location Framework because that's where this class is defined. And then we're going to make our class final so it's actually optimized at the compiler level. Okay. This class is also going to be a subclass of NSObject, and we will conform to observable protocol so we can publish the location information. All right, so there's a lot being said, so let's go ahead and start writing some code. So we're going to start with a Swift file, and we're going to call this a location manager. Okay, now import from foundation is great. We are also going to import from core location. And then we're going to create a final class called Location Manager. This is going to be conforming to NSObject is going to become a subclass of NSObject and conforming to observable object so we can publish our results. Okay, next we will create two properties, one to publish the location information and another to create an instance of CL Location Manager. So a published property for location called of type CL Location. This is going to be an optional type, and there's going to be a private variable called Location Manager CL Location Manager. Okay. Now, whenever this class is initialized, we want to set some basic configuration for the location manager. For example, desired accuracy for location tracking, any distance filters, basically that we want to set depending upon how the periodic nature or the frequency of the location update after a significant distance has reached. Okay, we'll also use this opportunity to request when in use authorization from the user. Now, setting this when in use property, setting this property along with permission is not gonna get us the location tracking, but we'll also need to make a change in info.plist where we're gonna have to add a new key for the info.plist called privacy.location when in use description. So let's go ahead and add that first. So I'm going to go to info and I'm going to select any entry and just going to click plus here and going to go down to privacy section. Okay, and in this privacy section, what we are looking for is location. Okay, so privacy location when in usage description. Now, when in usage description, this is going to give us an opportunity to provide a business case why we want to track users location, and then we can this information is going to be basically presented, or this string is going to be presented to the user when app requests the when in use permission. Okay, so let me show you, like, let's put it in here and we'll see, like, where it's shown. So we're gonna say need permission to track users location. Now your use case, or your string, the permission description string, is going to be different. Make it much more convincing for your user, so they are, like, they feel safe allowing you to basically let you track the location. Okay, now back into the initialization process, we will actually call this method of, like, requesting a when in use permission. Okay, when in use authorization inside the initialization. We'll also conform to a delegate that we're gonna make sure our class basically conforms to. So first of all, we're gonna say override init. Okay, and we're gonna call super.init. All right, then we're gonna set a few things for the location manager. So location manager dot desired accuracy. So accuracy for the location data that our app wants to receive, and this takes some predefined constant. So we can say KCL location accuracy, and you have, like, a few options. So you have accuracy best level of accuracy that's available. Then you have, like, basically reduced level. You have kilometers accuracy, 100 meters, 3 kilometers, nearest 10th, and best for navigation. So best for navigation is actually the highest level that you can get when you're building a navigation based app. Then I would recommend using this. A reason I'm not recommending using this in this case, in our case, because this takes a lot of battery. So let's stick to accuracy best. For the location manager distance filter, we're gonna say KCL distance filter none. So we are not basically applying any kind of distance filter. That means we are saying essentially report all the movements. So basically we receive all the updates about the locations. Okay, we are also going to say location manager dot request when in use authorization. This is basically going to pop up that dialog box that will actually request the when in use authorization for our app. Now, if you have created this, and if you did not add where did it go, or privacy, okay, this key into info.plist, your app is gonna crash, and your app is in the debug console is gonna complain saying, hey, add this into the plist, add this key into the plist, otherwise you're not allowed to use. So just, like, a couple of layers to protect users privacy, other than giving users the control to give you access. Okay, so next is going to be location manager dot delegate. So we're gonna set ourselves, or this class, as a delegate for this tracking, because we want to receive these updates. Okay, for this error, we're gonna actually fix it in a minute, and we also want to use this opportunity to start updating the location. So make sure you actually start updating location, not heading or not monitoring visits. Okay, so start updating location. All right, now for this error, Okay, so what this error says is basically you need to make sure that this class conforms to CL location manager delegate, and conformance of this means basically we are actually going to implement a function which is going to receive all the updates about the location. Okay, so we're going to put that into an extension of location manager CL location manager delegate. Okay, now this delegate has several functions, and basically none of them are required. So like as soon as you conform to this delegate, you are good to go, but you're not going to receive any updates because we have not implemented the desired method that actually receives the update. So the function name is did update locations. Okay, so this is the function name, and this actually gives us access to all the locations that has been observed and basically reported by the core location manager. What we're going to do is we're going to first guard let into the location. So we're going to say location start last. We can get the last location from location, sorry, and if we can get to that, that's good. If not, then return from here. Okay, so now we have some sort of location information. Now we want to pass that into our class or instance, whoever is observing, so we can publish that information. Now published is used on the main thread. That means we are gonna have to publish this because location is going to be used on the main thread and it's going to be updating these states. That means we cannot update the information on the background thread. So we want to make sure that we actually go back into the main thread by using dispatch queue. So we're going to say dispatch queue dot main dot async, and we're going to simply say self.location is equal to the location that we have extracted out into this guard statement. Now we are done with the location manager. Now before we use our location manager, we need to extend MK coordinate region to add a couple of helper functions. Now one function is going to basically handle the default region when the location is not available. The other function will return a bindable value for the region, so that we can actually use that inside the map view, the SwiftUI version of the map view. Okay, so we are simply going to write an extension here called MK coordinate region. Okay, and this is going to import MapKit as well. All right, and we're going to have first of all we're going to have a static function for a default location when the location is not available. So default region, so we're going to say static func golden gate region, and this will return MK coordinate region. And we're going to simply create MK coordinate region with the center. Now we still have our annotation item, so annotation item dot POI, and we're going to take 0th information from 0th index from POI because that is our golden gate location. We're going to get the coordinates for that, and we're going to set the distance in meters to 5,000. Right, so that's our default region. All right, next is going to be a function get binding, and this is going to be an instance function which is going to get us a binding for a map coordinate region. So this will return MK coordinate region and basically binding object for this. All right, and this is going to be an optional. We're going to simply return binding for MK coordinate region dot constant of type self. So self instance is going to basically create an MK coordinate region for that. Now this import is added in order to support the binding because binding is defined inside SwiftUI. Okay, now that we have everything ready with the extensions and the core location with the location manager, we are ready to use our map inside our SwiftUI view. So let's go ahead and add a new file. And I'm going to choose SwiftUI view, and we're going to say map with user location. Okay, and essentially this is going to create a map. Now we are going to require user to allow the permissions. That's why I closed the canvas, because canvas is not going to make sense in this case. We're going to have to run the app. So what we're going to do is we're going to first create a state object to our observable property, private var location manager. So location manager. Okay, we are also going to create our region with the binding mk coordinate region. Okay, and this is going to basically have a guardlet statement getting the location from location manager. Okay, if we don't get any location, we are simply going to return mk coordinate region dot golden gate region dot get binding for that. So we're going to get the binding value for the default region if the location is not available. If the location is available, that means we have moved on from the guard statement, and we're going to create our region by calling mk coordinate region with the center location dot coordinate, and we're going to create our 5000 for the distance in meters, and we're gonna return region dot get binding. Okay, so that's gonna give us the binding object. Now last but not the least, we are going to put together an actual map. So we're gonna say if let region is region, so we're gonna actually safe unwrap region value, and then we're gonna create our map stating the coordinate region with the region value, and in interaction mode we're gonna just set it to all, shows user location, set it to true. We are also going to say user tracking mode is gonna be constant to follow the user's location. Okay, and we're gonna add ignore safe area into that as well. Let's go ahead and build to make sure everything builds. So we have a couple of errors, so let's go ahead and see. Okay, so this was basically just showing you the example. So let's go ahead and build again. Okay, so we're gonna go into content view, and instead of hello world, we're gonna say map with user location, and I'm gonna run this inside iOS 13 Pro. Now notice the first dialog, the permission dialog that we're gonna get, and this is the dialog that actually shows our text or the description that we entered. So let me put this aside and open this. So we have like privacy location when in use, usage description, need permission to track users location, allow this app to use your location question mark, need permission to track users location. Okay, then we have like precision on, and we have three options: allow once, allow while using the app, and don't allow. Okay, so basically if you want to make sure that your user actually allows you, that's why we are requesting when in use. Allow while using represents when in use, so we hope that our user is gonna select that, and from there we actually get this map view where our user's location is updated as they move. And if you are not seeing this update, make sure you go into your simulators feature, go under location, and make sure you select freeway drive. You can also do a city bike run, and that's actually gonna move a little bit slow, but again it still moves. Or we can actually once again do a freeway drive that's gonna actually start driving on this I think this is 680 highway. Yeah, one of the highways near Apple campus. Okay, so it's gonna start driving or showing user location in with the tracking in that direction. All right. So with that, we have reached the end of this course, and I hope you liked learning all about maps, or like learning basically about maps, various different features about the map, and this gives you a good starting point for you to explore the map. Now this is once again this was an intro to the maps in SwiftUI. We are going to be coming up with more advanced scenarios where we're going to explore a few more in our upcoming courses, but till that time, this actually satisfies your appetite for using maps in SwiftUI. So once again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in another video course. Thank you. Hello everyone, hope you all are doing great, and in this video we are going to be creating a custom map annotation, and this is also going to give you another insight into what advanced map course is gonna look like. So basically in this video we're going to be creating a map annotation out of UIKit, so we can actually port that over into SwiftUI just like we did for the maps itself, because it actually provides some additional functionality. Now before we actually talk about what those functionalities are, I want to show you our annotation example. So I'm gonna uncomment this map markers and pins example. This is the example that I actually put together for you guys to show basically difference between markers and maps, and you can find this inside the source code as well. Okay, so one of the limitation at this point that actually has with SwiftUI map is it does not allow any capability for callout. Okay, so you cannot click on the item and see what's going on, what is this. Let's say if you want to show a photo of Golden Gate or something like that, we can't do that because callouts are not supported. So in order to support callouts, that's actually something that you'd have to fall back onto UIKit world of MK view, and that's what we are going to be doing here. We're going to be actually porting over that callout functionality by creating a custom annotation that will support the callout functionality. Okay. One of the other thing I want to quickly tell you about is you can get around, if you only need to show the name of the place, you can get around that by using the custom annotation, and by simply displaying a text with the name. So let's say item dot name. Okay, and I'm gonna set the font to be footnote, and I'm going to run this, and what this should do is it should display the Golden Gate Bridge right there. Now we can actually offset this, so offset y -30, so it actually sits on the top of the the annotation, and that annotation that name is always going to be there, but this is just a way to do it. This is not the right way, because what we want is we want to have a callout functionality if you want to support more, but if you simply want to show what that marker is, you are going to basically have to you can actually use the custom view, but if you want to put it in a callout, then it's you're gonna have to fall back into UIKit world. Okay, and you can see there are some issues here with the street's name showing up. It's a little bit hard to see, so that's not good for the user experience as well. Okay, so I think I prove the case is like, that there is a need for a new type of annotation. So we can actually create that. I'm going to create a new file so I can actually put everything together in that new file, and you have all the code available to you. So I'm going to call this custom map annotation example annotations. Okay. And here, before we start creating our annotation, I want to actually create a data structure. Now, this data structure is going to support a few things. So I'm going to support a name, image, and a location. Okay, and basically, this data structure is going to hold all the information, all the examples that we wanna have. Okay, so I'm going to create that data structure right here with final class. Named map place. Okay, place on the map, and it's gonna basically be subclass of NS object, and it's gonna also conform to identifiable protocol. That means we need an ID, so we're gonna create an ID. We're gonna have a name, image, and location, and actually CL location, and let's import MapKit. Okay, now we don't need these vars. We can actually change them to let. Okay, and we are also going to need an initializer, and this initializer is going to expect name to be passed in. And we're going to set the names for our we're going to set our local properties with this. Okay, now basically what we're going to do is we are self.location is equal to location. There we go. Okay, so we actually need some places. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually add some example places inside the inside an extension to this map place. Okay, and this is going to be basically Golden Gate, Statue of Liberty, Eiffel Tower, Gilroy Garlic. Basically, this is a place in San Francisco, and SeaWorld in San Diego. Okay. So with those, we are going to basically have our map place. Now, I want to actually make our map place conform to MK annotation as well, so we can actually use that for our annotation purposes as well. So I'm going to add another extension called map place, conforming to MK annotation, or being a subclass of MK annotation. I think this is a class. No, this is actually a protocol. Okay, well, that's great. So yeah, conforming to MK annotation protocol, which requires you to provide coordinate, which is a required property, but then you have optional property of title and subtitle. Okay, so we are going to go back, and we're going to provide the property for coordinate, and this is simply going to be our location dot coordinate. And let's provide title as well while we are at it, and we're going to simply return the name of the place for that title. Okay, now with that, we have our data structure ready with all the information that we need. Now what we're going to do is we are going to create another version of UIKit map view, because I don't want to disrupt the view that you have already here for the example. So I'm going to actually create another UIKit map view. we're gonna set the region, and this time let's set the region with animation. We are also going to actually set the map type. I still want to support the map type. I want to keep most of this stuff same, so we don't deviate too much from our previous example. Now this is one thing that I'm gonna add as a new thing. We already created, let's see if we actually did that. I don't wanna. Okay, so one thing we did not do in this code was even though we created this coordinator, we actually did not assign ourselves as a delegate, and until you actually assign a self as a delegate, you're not going to be able to basically not self but context.coordinator as the delegate. You're not going to be able to basically receive any of the delegate function calls. Okay, that is required for this one because we want to receive the notifications, or basically the updates on the map information, especially for annotations. You're going to see how we're going to build it in a minute. We want to actually return the map view. Okay, and before we return the map view, we want to actually add the annotations. So we're going to simply use add annotations, and because our places, which is of type map place, and our map place actually conforms to MK annotation, we can simply pass our places into this map annotation, and we are good to go. Okay, so now we can actually simply create update UI view, and that actually gives us the UI view dot map type, and we're gonna set the map type as well. Okay, now this is so far there are only two changes. We are basically setting this coordinator class to be the delegate for the map view, and we are also setting the annotations, or adding the annotations. Now once we have added the annotation, our work is not done yet. We need to actually create a view for the annotation. So there are various different kind of annotations, even the user, basically user dot, the blue dot that you see for user's location, that's also an annotation. So there are various different types of annotations. So we want to figure out which annotation is our annotation, because we want to provide the value, or the view of the right annotation view. We don't want to override the user's tracking annotation view to our own view. Okay, by the way, that's a hint, in case if you want to change your users tracking, the blue dot, into a car like Uber does, you can actually use the make view and detect if the annotation type is users annotation, then you can change that. So just FYI if you want to actually explore that. Okay, going into map coordinator, we actually are going to provide a function view for annotation, and this is where we're gonna get access to the annotation information, and we can return an annotation view, a custom view for ourselves. Okay, so we're gonna start with a guardlet for map place, because we want to actually get the annotation. We're going to cast it as map place to make sure that this is our annotation. If we can't do that, then we want to return nil from here, because we don't want to handle this annotation view. Okay, if that is not the case, we're going to simply create an annotation view, map view dot dequeue. Now annotations are just like table view cells. They are dequeued for reusability, so we're going to use dequeue one of them for reusability, and we're going to call this custom map annotation. Okay, and I'm going to keep this in the clipboard, and we're going to try to cast this as mk marker annotation view. All right, if that turns into a nil, or we can't create one, or we can't dequeue one, then we're going to create mk marker annotation view with annotation Okay, and we're gonna pass the annotation object that we have received right here, and reuse identifier is gonna be the reuse identifier we just created. Okay, so that's gonna give us the annotation view. We're gonna return this annotation view first of all, and let's set some properties. So annotation view dot can show callout. So we're gonna say it can show callout, and then for annotation view we're gonna set the glyph text to be I'm gonna set it to a golf, actually the flag. Okay, and then I'm gonna say annotation view dot marker tint color, and let's set it to system pink. Annotation view dot title visibility, make it visible so we can see the title. Annotation view dot detail callout accessory view, and this is where we can actually display an image of the of that place that we are marking on the map. And we're going to simply create a UI image, and we're gonna supply map place dot image into that, and we're gonna map this to UI image view dot init. Okay, because UI image view takes a UI image as an initialization parameter, we don't have to specify that, and that will create our view for annotation callout, detail callout. So whenever you tap on the annotation, it's gonna basically display that image. Now all we need to do is use this annotation, and then we are going to basically display our new annotation view inside the map. So let's go ahead and do that. But before we actually do that, I want to also make sure we have the assets for it. So I'm going to create a new folder here. I'm going to call this images inside our assets folder. Images. Okay, and inside this I'm gonna basically copy paste inside these images. I'm gonna copy paste some of these images. So I'll show you, like, you know, what these images are. All right, so let me go ahead and copy and paste. All right, so basically each of these images represent, like, you know, those places, like Golden Gate and Gilroy, Gordick, and SeaWorld. Okay, like, you know, just a few of them. All right, so that will actually bring all the, that should bring all the images. Well, it didn't. That is okay. So contents is actually empty. I think I should replace the contents as well. Let's see. If it doesn't work, then I'm gonna have to actually, okay. It doesn't seem like it's working. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move this to trash, and I'm gonna drag and drop images here. Okay, so alrighty, just bear with me for a minute. And you can grab any image you want. I'm just gonna grab, like, I just grabbed something, like, you know, quickly from the internet. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, cool. And we have our 5 locations, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. Okay, so these are our annotations. Now we're gonna go and use them. Okay, so the way we're gonna use them is going to be, like, you know, something that you already know, but we are going to start with a state variable. And we're gonna create a region, MK coordinate region, with center, and center is gonna be one of the map place. So map places, so map place dot map places at 0th index dot coordinate. Okay, and let's give it distance. Okay, so okay, okay, this is the wrong place. Should have been, okay, let me do this. It should be this guy. The coordinate is going to be here. This is going to be 5,000 and this is going to be 5,000. Okay, all right, so our region is ready. We are going to use so let's use satellite view or hybrid view. So I'm going to say map type is gonna be mk map type dot hybrid. Okay, and here UI kit map view, we're going to use the annotation version. We're going to supply our region and we are going to supply our map type. And for the places, we're going to say map places, map place dot map places, and we're gonna get the ignore safe area for all sites. Okay, and that is gonna get us basically ready to display the map annotation. So let me go ahead and build and run, and let's see how it looks in our simulator. So as you can see, my coordinates are a little bit off. Don't worry about that, that's not the main point. But you can zoom out, and let me see if I can zoom out. Oh my god. Okay, zooming out is so difficult. And so there you go, you have Gilroy Garlic, you have Golden Gate Bridge. As you can see, like, you know, the names are like, you know, so like visible just fine. And then we can actually zoom out a bit more, and there you go, you have Statue of Liberty. And let's keep going and see. I think one of the monument is missing. Let's see which one it is. Okay, so for some reason we didn't have our Empire State shown up here. Let's see what's going on. Okay, $32. Okay, that's very strange. Let me go ahead and check the coordinates for Empire State Building. Oh, this actually is yeah, this one is Empire State. It's very off. So let me go Empire State Building. Let me try to pull it up. Okay, so where's the Empire State Building? Right here. It's 40 and 73. See, that's actually that is, yeah, that is way off. It's not somewhere in the United States, it's somewhere different. Okay, now let's go ahead and build and run. Yeah, like I said, I actually probably grabbed wrong coordinates from the internet. Then we have, like, you know, our Gilroy Garden or Gilroy Garlic, and I'm going to zoom out a little bit more, and then we have our Statue of Liberty, and somewhere near Statue of Liberty we'll have what? Eiffel Tower? Did I replace the wrong one? Oh man, I actually replaced the wrong one. Anyways, you get the idea. You can figure it out. That is actually the Eiffel Tower showing up, but yeah, there you go. Like, you know, your callout is showing basically the image of the monument. Actually, the coordinates I replaced by mistake were for Empire State. Okay, so as you can see, like, our annotations are showing the detail information. Like, you know, they're showing the picture, they have, like, you know, this whole animation thing going on, like, you know, and we like literally have to do just a few things to port this over into SwiftUI. Okay, so with that, we have reached the end of the course, and thank you so much once again for walking through this course with me. Hopefully you learned a lot about maps and how you can basically get all the functionalities of MapKit and port it over into SwiftUI and make it use for yourself. And I will see you guys in another video course. Okay, and thank you so much. A big thank you for all your support that you guys give us. We really appreciate it. Okay, all right, I'll see you guys in another video course. Thank you.